Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to AVX Live. I'm Joe Gilderson, President of Corporate Audio Visual Services, and I am rejoined by my co-host, Mr. Ryan Finch.
Hello, everyone. Joe, you know what you're not rejoined by?
What's that?
A stable Wi-Fi connection.
I'm all good on my end. That's all I can tell you.
Oh, well, that's fine.
Either way, last week, Ryan was on the beaches of Florida, so it's nice that he reluctantly joined us again this week.
That's not reluctant. I'm happy to be here every time.
You were a little reluctant. That's all I'm going to say. But
well, when
either
given
way,
the choice, I'm just saying.
We are here, and we're going to do a little recap. Last week, we were at our annual Pirate University training session. And we've done that training program for the last 9 years, and it lasted 2 days. We had about 30 people in person. We had another 50 people registered online. So it was a true hybrid experience. But so we're going to recap a little bit of last week's training, as well as, Ryan, what you missed last week was really something tremendous. Okay.
I know. It seems that way.
I'm not even just talking about the training. I'm talking about AVX Live was broadcast from Pirate University, from the main stage, and was even more hybrid than anything else we did. That's all I can tell you. But
I'm looking forward to hearing more.
I give you the details of that. Maybe if you remember how to do this thing, because last week I did it all myself, but if you remember how to do this, why don't you tell people how they can find us?
Oh, of course I remember how to do this, because you can find us on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Look, I went out of order. I blew it right away. On YouTube, on Facebook, on LinkedIn Live. All live, all the time. Just kidding. Wednesdays, 1 p.m. Now I'm doubling back. And while you're there, you can drop us a comment. You can be part of the show. You might as well, right? We'll answer it live. If you have some questions, let us know. And while you're there, you might as well show some love. Smash the subscribe button. Hit the comment, share, like, subscribe, all the above. Much appreciated. Please do. And, of course, you'll find some bite-sized bits and pieces now that our video editor extraordinaire is back from her vacation. You will find those on Instagram and Facebook for some quick bites after the show. I think I got everything.
I think you did. I mean, you went out of your way to try to, get me out of order, and you did for a few seconds there, but it's okay.
Keep you on your toes. You never know what's coming next.
Well, this is live, so that's how we got to do this thing. But all right, so on last week's program, I was actually on stage with Jim Marlowe. And by the way, Jim Marlowe was really good at reminding people to smash the subscribe button.
Oh, I bet he was.
We also had Omar Colomb, who was in Florida, and Ray Ovetsky working out of Queens. And I don't know, Ryan, if you can see my image here, but we brought those guys in remotely.
Very nice.
And Jim and I were on the main stage. And I'm not going to say anything, but you can see in this shot here, you can make that bigger if you like.
Yep.
That there's a computer there.
Okay.
And I was controlling all of StreamYard right from there.
Really?
I bet you didn't even know that we could do that.
I mean, I knew that we could do that because I'm behind the scenes as well.
I mean, it's pretty impressive.
Well, you know what? And I have to take a shot at you when I can. It's very important to me. So you're telling me that at the very beginning of the video, you had that banner over you and Jim's face, and you could see it there.
Well, I couldn't see that there because I was actually doing multiple things at once. However, the other 22 people who were controlling things probably could have seen it and maybe pan the camera. However, we're not.
Well, they did. They did eventually. They saved your rear end.
It took them multiple minutes, but yes, they did actually catch it eventually. Either way, the controls, yes, were right here, and it was pretty cool. I got to say,
it did
something
look cool.
That the modern technology allows us to do is do things many ways. We also stream that to 5 different places at the same time, because we're able to send it to multiple Facebook accounts, LinkedIn, YouTube, and we also sent it to our virtual event platform that we were using for the show, for the training program, really. And that was Hopin, which we've talked about many times on this show.
Hey, Joe, while we're on the topic of AVX
Yes.
and that particular panel, I do have a couple of clips that we can show to highlight some segments. What do you think?
Well, I'll give you the premise of it, and then let's roll those clips. In the idea of that segment and bring on Omar and Ray, who were exceptional, and having Jim there, was because we took on a topic that would be very unusual for a production company to handle, and that's how to excel at freelancing. But part of our training was really to help people, improve their skills, and we decided it would be best if we were trying to help improve everything for them. And so in that particular case, that's why we brought in a group of experts so they could give their advice. And if you got a clip, I think that would be better than hearing me talk about it.
Fair. Well, I have a couple of clips. I have one from Ray and one from Omar. They're a couple of minutes each. But hey, that's what this show is about. This episode is about highlights, so you're really getting the bite-sized pieces right here. It's like we're doing it for you. Look at that.
Let's do it then.
Okay,
man. Let's do it.
Here it comes.
So I think we're probably addressing an audience of people that really are looking for the secret to freelance, right? How do I get in? There's probably a lot of you that are saying, listen, I'm ready. I'm good to go. I just want to know how to get in and start freelancing. I will say this. You better have a base, a fundamental base of some kind of knowledge and real skill set.
Absolutely.
Dressing, speaking, having the website, that's all well and good, I guess. But you better have a foundation of a real tried and true skill set, whether it's electronics, whether it's electrics, whether it's logistics, admin, budgeting, whatever. Many times as freelancers, we've pulled together and honed a whole bunch of different skill sets, but there's always been a base that I could rely on. And for me, it was electronics. And it was a very important skill set because it made me valuable in understanding what skill I could bring to the table. And then you have all the personal dynamics that Jim and Omar just said, being on time, just not waiting to be directed, jumping in. Hey, do you need help with that? Hey, I got a second, you see someone on a ladder, they're struggling, or, there's all these different dynamics. So what I will say that is, first and foremost, concentrate on a real skill set. If sound is what you want to do, then you probably should really get in front of Digico boards or an Avid, a console. You should also understand the old school analog consoles, the old Mackies and what have you. You need to familiarize microphones and all the different aspects of low impedance, high impedance, balanced, all the aspects of your industry. If you don't have that, then what you're asking is, hey, listen, I'm a great worker. I'm strong. I'm going to be here on time. I have a heart for service. But that's not enough.
I thought that was very well said.
Ray is excellent, and he's used to leading high-profile events, and the man knows what he's talking about. I mean, I think that's quite clear.
It absolutely is. No, and I think, look, I came from a technical or I was in a technical role for a very short amount of time. I certainly did not have a specialty in that world, but I could see around me the people who, very early on we get on site and it's like, all right, you're doing this, you're doing this, you're doing this. You have to break into groups, and if you're going to be an absolute liability on the video side, but you're really strong on the audio side, well, then that's something that A, we need to know. And B, I think it serves you well, is to just sound off on the thing that you're better at, and that at least makes you useful, and that gives you a way in. So I thought that was very well said. I do have another clip, Joe, and this one's from Omar.
All right, then let's hear it. Omar is excellent as well.
He is indeed, of course. I didn't have it ready, and now I do. Here it comes.
Don't be afraid. And, one thing I just want to mention real quick that we're not saying yet that I think is also a key, more so than just the technical skills. Don't be afraid to be that breakout guy. Breakouts are chaotic. You're a one-man band. You're doing a lot of things on your own, and you're dealing with the client. And if you can master managing your time in the chaos on the soft skills, not just the hard skills of the technical side, which everybody loves to learn about stuff, and obviously what I teach the most of, but on the soft skill sides, if you can manage that room, because the client's not going to talk about, hey, he messed this up, he messed up. They're always going to talk about that. That's irrelevant. What they're going to talk about is, hey, I went into this room and Omar was just super polite. We had a bunch of problems, but he solved it. He did a great job. They're going to report that back to the owners and to the labor companies. They always report those types of things, not so much the technical stuff. They can get past it if you're a good person and you're hospitable. But if you're just not a good person and you're just rude and irreverent, it becomes, hey, all this was wrong and that guy was rude to me or he disrespected me or XYZ. That information always gets back more than anything else. I could tell you a ton of times where I was in leadership role and someone was running a breakout room and they said, hey, we had some problems, not a big deal. Omar solved it. He was very good at what he did. We just had a couple of problems. It downplays it because you're a good communicator. You're hospital, and a lot of times we forget in what we do. We are not just technicians, but we're also in the hospitality industry.
Yes, Omar was reinforcing a point that we brought up many, many times. And actually, way back in one of our pirate universities from the past, one Rob Friedland, who has been on this show before,
That's right,
had mentioned and reminded everyone when he was on the client experience panel that we are in the service business. And that is something that we talk about all the time. And Omar right there, bam, nailed down the head. We didn't prep him. He knew it right away.
Yeah.
So he's on point.
Well, and I think those two pieces, side by side, really do kind of incorporate, both ends of the spectrum. That is the foundation of Pirate University in and of itself, right? It's like it is just as much a training program for the technical as it is a training program for being a good professional and being a professional. And and I think that obviously goes overlooked. You don't find as many classes online. When you're like, all right, I want to learn this piece of gear from RCF. It doesn't often marry with and here's also how you manage your client alongside of that. So it certainly does kind of paint the full picture.
Yeah, those guys were excellent. To see the whole clip, we put the link in the chat. And here it is again. It's right here. It's on our YouTube. It's on our YouTube channel, as well as a zillion other videos, and many of them from Pirate University. We're just finishing posting some of the last ones. But there's a whole series of audio skills specifically that our guys put together based on a Behringer X32 board. And they had very specifically put together video clips on really how to use it and dig into it. So you'll see that and, another 100 videos there. But feel free to get on our YouTube site, check it out. I think there's probably a button to smash and subscribe.
Oh, there's definitely a button to smash and subscribe. And actually, apparently, I'm told that Jim said smash the button. So, I mean, that
Jim
helps.
was my Ed McMahon last week.
Who's that?
Oh, boy. Really?
Did I ruin it for you? I'm sorry.
No, you're just embarrassing yourself. No big deal.
Do you know who would know Ed McMahon?
Everyone.
These two.
Well, they definitely know who Ed McMahon is.
Yes. I'm just pointing to a particular demographic. That's all.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do. But I'll let you, Google that afterwards and figure it out. So we also discussed many other things because we had a lot of hands-on presentations. We had, I'm going to go in order for a second because I had to live it.
I'm not.
Yeah, you're in an entirely different place than I am. So
okay, I'll try to match up with you. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's not going to work out like that, I'll tell you. But we had Theatrics do a presentation remotely.
Oh, really?
And
Theatrics did that, you say?
Mm-hmm.
Did Theatrics do that?
They did, and they were discussing their new Express Q, which is a hardware version of Playback Pro for some of the people out there. It's to play video clips, but in a more secure way. They also discussed their Nomad LED tiles. So we had one of the tiles here, and we were going through. That's Max. Max was up in Montreal at the time. I mean, look, we're an international program, Ryan. Okay,
clearly
we're international. We had some of our friends from Ireland were watching. They were on last week as well. Great group out there. Fast Lane Productions, fantastic team, really good work. We connected over, of course, the pandemic and through some other things, but they were on last week. But my friend Max was up in Canada, and he was walking us through the Express Q and the Nomad tiles. We also had our friends at RCF. Tarek was presenting on all their sound equipment and different services, and he brought in just one speaker that basically covered the entire room. And it was, maybe
That's
like
pretty good.
Yeah, no, it was excellent sound. I think that was a TT model, but Tarek was excellent. Great guy. Always been supportive of our team and always very resourceful for anyone out in the sound field. RCF, excellent company, make a lot of different product. We had our friend Seth from Analog Way, and Seth we refer to as one of the OGs of Pirate University. So he's been there right from the beginning.
Is this him?
That is not Seth.
Blew
and yeah, you're like 0 for 3. But that's
I couldn't
okay.
see his face, and it was very small in the thumbnail, so I had to
He's sitting at a
go for it.
table. You'll see him at a table. He has a giant Aquilon, which is, there he goes. He's a present. You just passed him. He's a presentation server.
I thought that, again, very small thumbnail. I thought that was Dane. I'm like, that's not Seth.
That's not Dane. No, that's
there
Seth.
you go. Okay.
Yeah, Seth Teets from Analog Way. He's been supportive of us right from the beginning. Great guy. That's their Aquilon presentation switcher / server. Pretty incredible piece of equipment. We have like 3 other versions of their product. So he was in training the team on how to use that and where it's appropriate to use that tool, but it's pretty kick-ass. So Seth was awesome. We'll go back to the other gentleman that you showed that was not Seth, that you thought was Seth. And that was the team from ADJ and American DJ
Nope.
Lights.
No again.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, there we go.
That's John right there.
There's John.
John was excellent. John and Chris were doing a full demo of, you did have the lighting board picture up there. There you go. That was I forget what that board was called, but they had their lighting board there, and they had a bunch of different LED moving. There's some of the LEDs. Look at me getting in there, Ryan.
Wow.
I mean, that's how
leading from the front.
Hands-on. Okay, that's what hands-on looks like.
And in this picture, not shown here, is Joe's complete lack of lighting skill.
I mean, I'm running my own lights right now.
That's true. Maybe I should take that back. Not complete lack.
Well, I mean, look at this. I can turn them on. I can turn them off. What do you want, Vince? You want me to turn the lights off? You want me to turn the lights off? There they go. Here, they're coming back on.
Okay. I stand corrected. Foot in mouth. Continue.
All right. There you go. And so those fixtures right there, the 2 at the end especially, actually they have lime, the color lime mixed in with their RGB, which is really interesting. And it's much better for the broadcast world. So it affects people like us that are using cameras all the time. Yeah, really great product. And I think both of those were IP65 rated as well, so that they could be outside. Interesting, right? Excellent products. I mean, then they blew our heads off with a couple of strobing lights and this 300-watt mover. But I'm pretty sure that Aaron is still suffering a week later.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he had a hard time with that one. It was blinding him in the camera. But either way. But those guys were fantastic. Again, they've always been very supportive. We also had Omar came back on. Omar was back on our virtual side. And he was on the Hopin platform, and he was running his own workshop on how to elevate your skills in vMix. Okay, because again, we have to cover both in-person and online skills. So, and he created templates, and he was giving away free templates for people. So we're going to be getting those out to all the people that registered. But I mean, you're talking about, you're covering it from all angles.
Absolutely.
So he's got templates so that, like what we're doing right now with these 2 windows we have here, and sometimes we put, Ryan introduces another graphic, and then we have a third thing. Well, he has these templates just for people to use. So he had built some of those out for his AV Educate crowd, because he has 5,000 subscribers to AV Educate, and everybody's jumping on that right away. So that was another great session.
And that makes sense too, because I can say firsthand that every time we get into a discussion like that, the first thing they say is, well, could you send us some templates to work from so that our designers know exactly what to give you? And it's like, sure, yeah, I can. So so very, very useful.
Yeah, no, and that was really just to our online crowd, and then of course we broadcast it to everybody in person,
right?
At the same time. So for all those planners trying to put together a hybrid meeting, we might know a few things about it. Just saying. Shameless plug.
That was a shameless plug. Absolutely was.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
I like when I hit it on the nail. Why does it say Facebook user?
I don't know.
Well,
But-
thank you, nameless Facebook user. I appreciate the commendation.
But he hit it on the nail. There you go, Facebook. We had some internal presenters. They were all putting a lot of time on this. So there's our friend Dane Cologne, and he was showcasing 2 different pieces of equipment we got from one of our sponsors, Nationwide Video. We've had Brett and the entire team over there. Keith Solomon, I got to put a big shout out to Keith because he's always been the best. Omar is the nameless, faceless Facebook user.
It's got to be like a friend kind of thing. Like I have to be friends with him or something. Well,
And
we'll
all
get
know
to the
you're
bottom
not-
of it. But it's Omar.
You don't have any friends, so I mean, come on.
That is absolutely true.
Wow. I'm sorry. Omar, thank you for chiming in.
Yes, thank you.
You did a
Omar.
great job last week. As usual. Our friends there, they gave us this Panasonic 21K laser projector. So Dane was going through that. He was also showcasing off a Pearl Mini, which is like an encoder, recorder, player. It seems to do a lot from that little tiny box. Look at all these guys. It's almost like they know what they're doing, but in reality, they were learning. They did not know what they were doing.
They're bringing tools and pieces to the puzzle, and they're looking to put it all together.
You know, Ryan, something interesting about that picture.
Okay.
We also had another sponsor, our friends at Drape Kings, John Holt and Drew Whitaker, had donated over an AV drop wall. This wall behind that the projected images on is something that we've used a lot. And we used it in like 4 different ways for this particular training session so that we could actually show people. So there's between the building of it to show how to do it, and then what you can use it for. So whether it's lighting, or it's to create backdrops that look like prints, or it's just to have slides and projected images on. And then we took down the main image, and then we used that projector so that people could get their hands right on it and shown that right on that same wall. And it worked out great. Really worked out great.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, while we're on the topic, we should also give thanks to everyone, right?
We should. Our guys at Evolve were excellent in connecting us with theatrics. We mentioned ADJ, Analog Way, RCF. Healy Sales is who we work with on ADJ equipment. Fantastic. You can see Omar's AV Educate logo right up there. I think we hit, and we've got 2 down at the bottom. I almost forgot about our friends at MacTech Solutions. They build all our websites and design. And then Party Line. Party Line was a big player in this. I mean, chairs, tables. We work with Party Line all the time. They came through. 2 thumbs up.
Thank you very much.
2 thumbs up. Everybody's great. All right, I just got a couple more, Ryan.
Yeah.
We had a few other internal presenters, okay, because we teach a Stagehand 101 and a Stagehand 201 class. So in our 101, we had Mr. Will Austin, our operations manager, and Jim Marlowe. And they were going through all the basics of how to get started in the industry and all the things you really need to know. And those are 2 seasoned veterans that came from both theater and rock and roll. And so I think they've seen it all by this point, you know. And then we did a 201 class for all those people out there. That's the next level. And there's Scotty Mack and Will Austin again. Now, this time they put everybody in motion. And they had an all hands-on, setup going on where they had groups working together and we'll say kind of competing against each other.
Oh.
Yeah, they did a great job. That was probably one of the highlights. I got to say, everybody was up and they were doing things and building and they were pretty tough. They only gave them like 9 minutes. I mean, it was like setting up a breakout room on a Sunday morning,
Did it look like this? Was there chaos?
Yes, it did look like that. And yes, it was chaos. I got to say, if you see the video clips, when we do the postings online, there's actually a roving camera as well. So you can really get in there and see people doing some stuff and how they're connecting. Yeah, it was actually a great touch. It was really cool. Let me go down my list here. Oh, look at this. Ryan, I see that nameless Facebook user has posted a comment. I have a feeling I know who that person is now. So
yes, I believe it is Omar.
I believe it is. Judging
We've
by
established
the
that.
what he's written, because I know he knows how to use it. So,
Yeah.
but our final session. Let's see if we can remember what this is. Before we talk about it, Ryan, we've done a final session, a grand finale, some might say, that's called the client experience.
I am familiar. Yes.
Now, you were not, let's be clear, you were not at last week's event.
I was not asked to be a part of it. And by that, I mean I was on a beach.
Yeah. No, we did not ask you to be a part for that very reason. We did not think you would contribute a hell of a lot. So,
Well, I would have contributed a lot, but you wouldn't have wanted anything that I had to contribute. So,
you actually were not that far from Omar. You probably could have gone to his studio, which looked great, by the way. Could have gone to his studio.
Where is it offhand?
He was in Orlando.
Oh, okay. Well, I was a little ways away from that. I've
Yeah,
actually
you could
learned
have
very
been.
recently that Florida is massive.
It's a big state.
Yeah, so
You
in
could
any
have made
case,
it though if you really
I could have.
cared.
I could.
I mean,
Okay. Ouch.
either way. Can you maybe remind people what is the client experience all about?
Well, the client experience is kind of what it sounds like, right? We actually get people who are our clients who are, gracious enough to come in and help us help you, right? And that is, yes, there we go, Omar, Orlando, Florida. Boom. I will actually be seeing you, I think, later in the year. In any case, the client experience, we hear from them, and we really get to the heart of what it is that they look for from us. And I think a lot of the time it's counterintuitive to what the traditional AV technician shows up to a job and thinks that they want from them. We get a lot of people who want to talk about like, well, let me explain to the client why this RCF, or not RCF, why this RF frequency is not going to play nice with this, ULXD. I'm, spitballing here, but they don't care about any of that. They really don't. And so this panel is really to talk about what they do care about. And again, like I said, sometimes it's counterintuitive.
Okay, that's very well said. Very well said. In last week's session, we had Hillary Millman. Hillary actually has two different roles. She works as a consultant, a marketing consultant, and she also runs a membership-based nonprofit that helps other nonprofits. So she's someone that has a lot of different experiences on the event side from different capacities. Kevin Johnson, hotel general manager, who certainly has lots of experience with events, right? And Rose Kappa, who also had dual roles. She works at one of our clients that is, it's an elderly living center that has a lot of live music. It almost doesn't make any sense.
Sounds like fun.
But they have a lot of live music, and they're always doing things for all of their patrons and their guests. And she's also owned an event management company for over 20 years. So we had people who knew this stuff inside and out. And I mean, they were great. They really contributed a lot about, trying to help our technical staff to learn how to assist clients on site, provide a really, really good experience. And again, like you just said, tell them what items are actually important to them. So if you do have a clip, that might be a cool time to roll one.
I do. Here it comes.
But other than that, as long as the speaker's good and they can see that person and hear that person, that's it for me. Now, it's not the same. There are events I do where we need that wow factor, where there's a really emotional story being told, and we need, the video and the sound and the timing and all of that. And I need you to record it, and I need you to record the audience reaction, and I'm really annoying. I want you to be in 20 places at once and for a low, low price of nothing. So I do have those events too. But there are times where my focus is let's just eliminate any barriers to my people getting what they need out of this event.
Just to add to that, and I'm happy you talk about the barriers. And I think when you look at an AV company, I know you live in the technical side of that world every day, but at the end of the day, the purpose of having AV present in an event is to enhance that event. If you think of it from that perspective, from the human side of it, enhancing that event so that the barriers are eliminated, so that persons on the other end can hear. You know, when you take away this microphone that I'm speaking to right now, in this small room, you can still hear me. But with this microphone, it's less effort. I don't have to speak as loud. I can save my voice for a few more minutes. You know, when you start looking at the human side of what you actually do, you realize the value that you bring to making that event successful. So, you know, like Hillary said, removing those barriers. And sometimes I know a lot of times you have an event and being in the technical side from time to time, the last thing you want, somebody's coming up to you and telling you that there's a problem with the microphone or a problem with the camera, because as far as you're concerned, it's all working. And a lot of times we find that some of these barriers become the users side of it. So, you know, one of the things that is good to do at the beginning of these events, when you set up the event, is walk the users through exactly how to properly use a microphone, or how to use the projector, or how to use the computer, because sometimes we believe they know, but they really don't. You know, so, but once you start taking the human side of it and adding it to the technical side of it, it makes for a beautiful experience.
And there's that word.
Wow. You brought
Wow,
up experience. Isn't that nice?
That worked out. That worked out pretty well. Woo!
Yeah, you definitely didn't plan all of that.
No, but it speaks exactly to the heart of what we're saying, right? It's the experience. They didn't, you know, it doesn't matter what brand of whatever, you know, technology, whatever gear is in front of them. To them, they don't care about that. They care about not having to shout, and to be able to focus on the story and the message, and to make sure that their audience gets what they need from the event, and to make sure that everyone has an experience, and that, you know, barriers are removed. I mean, that's literally what they want. There's no like, well, I'm looking specifically for Mackie on this one. There's no, you know, I'm looking for, I need a Barco projector on this. It's, hey, those things matter to us because we know the right tool for the job. But what they need is the experience. They need those barriers removed. They need to get their audience what they came for. And so if you're always focusing on that, once you're on the show site, that's the way to get to success. And I think that's, you know, that kind of sums up the gist of that panel there.
No, they were excellent. You're right on point. They did great. And it's a nice way to finish the training, because it's kind of like we go through all of those technical skills and then we get to the end and say, but here's really why people hire us to help them. You know, and it's a nice way to end it, because that's kind of the impression that you're left with them. And we had a great group. Everybody really worked hard. They learned a lot. And I got to tell you, there's like 3 of the people from last week are in working today. And a lot of people got put on jobs right away, which is the whole purpose of why we started the training, was so that new people could become employable right away and have some sort of working skills. You know, like I said, we had 3 people out today, but there's another like 4 people that are on jobs this week. So I think we succeeded in what we were trying to achieve.
Right. Absolutely.
Well, it's good stuff. You know, I mean, the idea today was to just to recap everything from last week and to give people a sense of it. You know, Ryan, I think you probably have one more little video that's got some music that a friend of ours made.
I do.
Did you somehow butcher it so that,
no,
we
I
wouldn't
didn't
be able to play it like that?
Butcher it. I just showed all those photos already, and I don't have that video ready. So
okay.
So
all right,
no, I don't.
We will not play that, because we did have, of course, you know, a wrap-up video from day one. We had a secondary video, but Ryan, if you have that, fine. There was a picture where we had a whole bunch of people at the end, a big group shot. I mean,
Definitely have that.
I think that would be a nice way to end it.
Do you mean this photo?
I do mean that photo.
Nice.
Yes. See, look at how happy people are. Plus, there was even swag. I mean, we never have swag.
Well, I mean, we had swag last year and this year.
There was a little
and probably next year too.
Well, there'll be a little swag then.
There we go. Well, good. I'm glad. I hope everyone enjoyed.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, now I feel like you got to experience it as well.
I did feel like I had FOMO. I had FOMO while I was on the beach sipping Mai Tais.
I don't know if you really did.
I didn't have any Mai Tais. You're right.
Very good. Well, Mr. Finch, I think
yeah.
it's about time for us to wrap this one up.
Okay.
You know?
Deal.
Why don't we remind people of? Oh, hold on. I see a comment.
I too want Hillary. I didn't get any swag either.
I don't know if
And
you deserved it, but Hillary did deserve it. So,
Well,
right,
I think
all right, I got
maybe we can make a memo to get Hillary some swag.
can somebody get Hillary some swag, please? All right, memo has been delivered.
And indeed, Omar, it was an awesome photo. Thank you.
If we only could have cropped Omar's head into there,
Into the photo or
Yes.
had him like live on the screen behind.
that would have been a good idea.
Oh, that would have been awesome.
I mean, look, there's plenty of places for him to go too.
I can Photoshop him.
I mean,
in.
they lifted Bobby like 6 feet in the air. So,
Oh yeah, they did. Well, look at that.
yeah. So, I mean, we definitely could have got Omar in this photo.
We'll have to. I'm gonna Photoshop.
We're
him.
gonna work on this. Omar.
That's it.
We're gonna work on this. All right, Mr. Finch. While we remind people how they can find us, and we're gonna wrap this thing up.
Well, you can find us in bite-sized pieces afterwards on Facebook and on Instagram. Sorry. You can find us on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, live every Wednesday at 1 p.m. You can smash the subscribe button. There we go. Like and subscribe. You can comment. You can drop us a question. You can be part of the show. You can do all of those things. And yeah, I already said the other one, so I think I went out of order and I blew it. And I will indeed Photoshop you in. Yes.
Well, Ryan, I'm going to take that as is. If anybody needs to reach us, you know how to find us. Corp AV at corporate-av.com. Mr. Finch, it's time to take us home. Bye-bye. Ciao, ciao. We'll see you next time.
Stay golden, Pony Boy.
So